Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Sever7, and today we are taking a look at the Miguron Gatov, and that's with the ultimate goal of seeing if it's worth adding to your collection or your daily carry rotation. Now, I did buy this knife with my own money. It was designed by Sam Luo, the owner of Miguron, and it was OEM'd by Miguron. So this knife is super exciting for a couple of reasons. Mostly the price to materials value ratio. So let's jump right into it. So right out of the gate, we've got these gray aluminum slotted scales. They're super smooth at the touch. Everything's rounded. We don't really have any rough edges or anything like that. We are rocking T8 hardware for everything except the pocket clip screws attached to the pocket clip. Those are T6s. It is reversible, and these are T8s, so I assume you would just bring the T6s over here and put the T8s back here. Not really sure why they did that. Thought it was a little bizarre, but you know, I'm sure there's some logic to it. So we have a deep carry reversible steel stamped pocket clip, and we have a crossbar lock, so it's completely and totally ambidextrous. We don't have any backspacer or anything like that. It's just the standoffs. And we do have a spot for a lanyard right here. Now, as far as the ergonomics go, it's a relatively small handle, like I can get a full 4-finger grip, but ideally I'd want to be able to rest my finger right in here. And I mean, I can still get a 4-finger grip, but I wear large size gloves, so if your hands are bigger than mine, you know, it might be a bit of a tight squeeze, or you might have to choke up a little bit more, like right here. Which is fine. I mean, it's plenty comfortable. It's just not the most ideal. You know, ideally you'd want to be locked in right here. So I think my hands are kind of the max size if you're wanting to put your pointer finger right here in this groove. We do have functional jimping right back here. I wish it was a little bit longer, but it is enough absolutely to lock you in. You can see that. Yeah. As far as the weight goes, we're actually balanced pretty perfectly, which is insane because this knife is already super light. So the fact that it's super light and perfectly balanced means this thing basically disappears in the hand. As far as the blade goes, I'm going to call this a modified Wharncliffe, just because we have a little bit of belly. You could also say modified sheep's foot, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with Wharncliffe because I think this point is more predominant than this belly. We do have PVD, gray PVD on the for a blade finish. We are rocking a flat grind with D2 steel, and this is the first time I think I've seen Miguron use D2. Typically it's all 14C28N, but in this case I'm really happy they use D2. Now, as far as the action goes, this is a crossbar lock. However, with that generous flicking hole, it's really snappy. Acoustics are on point, especially on the drop. Easy to manipulate. And that snap on the way down, so satisfying. It is important to note that if you flick like this with your pointer finger up, you're going to lose some of that snappiness. Whereas if you put your knuckle on the backside scale, you're going to get a lot more of that snappiness. And that's because the reverberation is all happening up here. So if you're knuckling it down here, you still get that reverberation and that sound. But if you've got your finger up here, then what you're doing is you're stopping that reverberation by holding tension up here, which means the acoustics aren't going to be as good. So if acoustics matter, I would definitely say knuckle it and pop it out. Now, as far as the drop goes, it's a crossbar lock, so there's either tension or no tension, which means crossbar locks are always going to be drop shut. It's a little bit different if they're on washers. I believe this one, yeah, this one is on bearings. So if it's on washers, it might be slightly slower to drop, but this one's on bearings, so it's going to be drop shut unless you don't put enough tension on the crossbar. Like if I only halfway pull the crossbar, then it's not going to be, see what I'm saying? It's not going to be drop shut. This is lefty friendly. One, because it's an ambidextrous locking system. Two, because we have a reversible pocket clip. Although I was struggle busting a little bit to, I think because the, oh, there we go. I think because it's a little smaller than I'm used to and it's my left hand, I was struggle busting a little bit to deploy it, but clearly not anymore. And then just bouncing back to the usefulness of this blade shape. Normally I move past the blade and then I don't go back to it, but this blade shape is essentially perfect because you've got a nice robust tip. See how we have the swedge leading into the tip? We have a nice robust tip that's going to be perfect for poking, and we have just enough belly. We actually have more than just enough. But we have a nice belly here that your slicing tasks are going to be easy as pie. Let me actually grab the post-it note I've got over here, and we're just going to give it a test. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's mostly on me, but this thing is definitely slicey. Yeah, this thing's fantastic. As far as the size goes, we're rocking 6.8 inches overall with a blade length of 2.8 inches. And we're going to put this up against the Real Steel Sylph. And we're going to put it up against the Civivi Altus. So compared to these two, it is quite a bit shorter with quite a bit less blade. Well, you know, I say quite a bit, but let's bump it up a little bit. It's really not too much, maybe half an inch or maybe 2/3. Yeah, I mean, it's really, I mean, it's proportional. It's not too much smaller. And then the blade to handle ratio is 0.7, which is fantastic, especially on a knife of this size. And then the overall weight is coming in at just 2.575 ounces. 2.575. If I'm not mistaken, I think a bug out's like 2.8. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. But I don't think the bug out's below 2 ounces. It might be. It might be like 1.8. Either way, it doesn't matter. So what's so great about this knife? Well, for starters, we have aluminum with slots in it. We have gray PVD coating. We have a full ambidextrous knife. And how much does this come in for? What's the cost on this bad boy? For aluminum and D2, with this build quality and this finish, it's $29.76. $29.76. And that's straight off Miguron's website. That's not factoring in any discount codes you would get at like White Mountain Knives or anything like that. This is under 30 bucks. Under 30 bucks, you're getting gray PVD D2. You're getting gray aluminum. I mean, the combo of colors, I mean, I'm using the term colors loosely here, but the two different tones of gray look fantastic. The fact that we have any sort of milling on the aluminum when Miguron could have done without the milling and nobody would have batted an eye. But the fact that we have some milling, fantastic. The fact that we're rocking T8s through everything except these two pocket clip screws is incredible. Sub 30 bucks for this knife. This very useful, very attractive, very pocketable, everyday carry knife is sub 30 bucks. That blows my mind. I cannot believe it. And I didn't even see this knife anywhere except on the Miguron site, which I recommend you go to because they just pumped out another overbuilt knife that I think is bigger than anything they've made before, and it's got a wicked blade shape. I mean, that thing is a beast. But whenever you go to check this knife out, probably buy it because you should, sub 30 bucks. I mean, we're talking Sen cut territory. And actually, Sen cut usually hovers around 40 bucks. So we're talking under Sen cut territory for milled aluminum in D2. The only downside of D2 is it's mostly stainless. It's just shy of being stainless. But other than that, D2 is a great working steel. Yeah, I just can't say enough good things about this, guys. I'm not a crossbar fan. But for this, I am completely making an exception because this knife is a delight to carry and manipulate. And bear with me a second while I get a drink because it is like 5:30 a.m. and my mouth was not hydrated. So, is this a recommendable knife? 1,000,000% yes. Yeah, anyone that says it's not recommendable is delusional. For 30 bucks, I don't know what else you would get. Maybe an aluminum Sen cut in 9CR, but even then, I think that would be a little more expensive. Probably closer to like 40 bucks, 42 bucks, and it's not going to look as good as this knife does. Yeah, I mean, this knife just blows me away. I know I'm kind of going in circles now saying the same thing, but I just really can't wrap my mind around how excellent this knife is. Looks, utility, price. I mean, this thing punches way over its weight class. This might be my favorite knife under 50 bucks, which means that would beat out the Real Steel Sylph and any other budget banger that I've done. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say this is probably my favorite knife under 50 bucks. It's just hard to argue with the value here. Now, tell me, what are your thoughts? Is this a knife that you would add to your collection? Would you add this to your daily carry rotation? Or is there something about it that you just flat out don't like? Right? Let me know down below. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, there's ways to do that down in the comments. Shipping's expensive. I pay about 240 bucks a month on shipping. And I have Cashapp, Venmo, and PayPal. If you feel like supporting the channel, your help is greatly appreciated. So thank you for that. The support's been amazing. The growth has been amazing. You guys have been amazing. And thank you so much for all that you're doing. Until the next time, guys. Peace.